And good morning. Welcome to Laurel Park here for today at the races. A beautiful Sunday morning. I'm Stan Salter, Gabby Gaudet. We're going to have a fun Sunday out here. Football starts. We have a Premier Parlay special, the Players Challenge Sunday brunch. But first, what a day yesterday. 6 stake races. A nice performance there by the Billy Mott horse in the Laurel Dash. And how about Onus, now undefeated from 4 starts here at Laurel Park.
And Onus was definitely on her A game yesterday, and Forrest Boyce was aboard for the victory yesterday. But Forrest actually established a nice rapport with the filly in the latter half of the fall season last year. This is her 4 for 4 now on the Laurel lawn. And Stan, that was her 3rd course record. She travels and she breaks records everywhere she goes.
Yeah, have track records will travel. That's Onus. Now 5 wins for that Stewart S. Jenny, the 3rd homebred, and Stewart was here yesterday, so always good to see him here in Maryland. This is his home state. It seems like just yesterday. I remember private terms running around here, so always good to see those connections. Shug McGahee, the Hall of Famer, gets to win. So big day yesterday, big day today, Gabby. We have the Players Challenge that starts today. This is an 8-week deal. The first 7 weeks you can qualify for the championship round. You can win a bunch of Premier Player points, 5,000 Premier Player points up for grabs in the championship round. We have all the information down there at the customer service window. What you do is
we have brochures.
We have brochures and everything. There it is.
Oh, there we go.
Weekly and championship prizes. It's a $30 entry fee. You can do 2 entries per week. Weekly and championship prizes. There's also another little kicker. If your picks are better than my picks for the day, you get double your Premier Player points. There's the Beat the Pro contest. So some cool stuff. Go down to customer service to sign up for this. It starts today. The Players Challenge, pretty cool contest as well. Today, starting with the football, we have the Premier Parlay starting as well, where if you pick a 3-team NFL parlay, pick 3 NFL games and they win, you get double your Premier Player points. So all kinds of stuff going on today.
And there's no risk of losing points either. If you're a Premier Parlay, if you do pick those 3 teams, or even if you lose, it doesn't go against you. So I think these are 2 excellent promotions. Great ideas too. The Players Challenge I'm looking forward to. You and I are both doing the Players Challenge. It's a $30 entry fee too. You have to enter today though, so that you can get your chance for the championship. But it's going to be the last 5 races of today's card. And the last 5 races of today's card, they're really interesting races.
Yeah, some nice maiden special weight races, some tough races, a bunch of well-bred first-time starters. I believe the late pick 4, 3 of the races in the late pick 4 are maiden races, so some challenging sequences indeed. We have a couple carryovers for you today here on Sunday Fun Day at Laurel Park. We'll start in the opener, the Rolling Super High 5 in race 1, a little shy of $800 for the Super High 5 carryover. It has that low 15% takeout. The Rainbow Pick 6 starts race 5 today on the 10-race program, a little over $1,700 for the Rainbow Pick 6. Then the late Pick 5, no carryover, same low 12% takeout as the early Pick 5. Late Pick 5 today starts in race 6. A beautiful Sunday afternoon out here, and we were due a day like this, Gabby, because yesterday and Friday, very, very hot out here.
Ooh, yesterday was definitely hot. I can't even articulate that enough. But everyone did a great job getting through the heat yesterday. The horses, the help, everybody here at Laurel. And we're getting a bonus here on Sunday because it's cooled off, it's breezy, we have beautiful conditions, the track is fast and firm, and we've got 10 lovely races on tap. First post set for 110.
All right, and race 1 is going to kick off the early Pick 5. Gabby, you're going to have a ticket for that. I have a ticket here for this Rolling Super High 5 with that small little carryover, a little shy of $800 here for the Super High 5 in race 1. Maiden claiming 25,000, 2-year-old fillies, 3/4 on the main track. Let's take a look here at my Super High 5 ticket for today's opener. I'm going to use the 4 on top. Cape Dancer, a first-time starter from the Hammy Smith Barn, Hambone, with a big day yesterday, a big upset winner in the Salima Stakes. He's very good with his first-time starters. He has been ever since he's been here in Maryland. So I'll go 4 over the 1-5, over 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 for the bottom 3 spots there. $48 ticket for that Rolling Super High 5 carryover in the opener. Now, race 1 also kicks off the early Pick 5. It's a mandatory payout on the early Pick 5 with a low 12% takeout, and Gabby has a ticket for you here for the early pick 5.
Well, maybe the word is out on the 4 Cape Dancer, because early money is showing up right now at 6 to 5. I'm going to be using that horse. I also picked Cape Dancer on top, but using 2 other horses in the first leg, the 1 and the 5. I didn't find a single in the first leg of the sequence. I thought it was kind of difficult. Looking at the pick 6 later, I do have a single, so we can limit the bankroll there. But spreading in race 4, using 4 horses deep and kind of consolidating the ticket in the middle part with races 2 and 3. So hopefully we have some luck, and it's a fun sequence to start us off.
It's a mandatory payout on that early pick 5. All right, babies, 2-year-old fillies here in the opener. 6 furlongs on the main track, and Hammy Smith, big day yesterday. I'm going with a Hammy Smith early double. I like him at 12 to 1 in race 2 as well. Let's start with the 4 Cape Dancer. First time starter by Cape Blanco here from the Hammy Smith barn. The dam guessed the dance, did not run. However, Cape Dancer, a half sister to Do That Dance, who Hammy trained as well, made $81,000. So this is the second foal here. Hammy Smith 17% with a positive ROI with his first time starters. Some decent works here at Laurel Park, including a couple works on the turf, and we get one of our top riders, Jevion Toledo, aboard today.
And Do That Dance, the horse that this filly is kin to that you were alluding to, she was actually an allowance type horse on the turf. So I think that's definitely a positive, and not to mention too, looking at Hammy Smith's statistics with his maiden claimer first time starters, especially at 2, he's 15%, so he does bat at a really nice percentage there for this 2-year-old filly. But other than her, I do think you have to respect some others in here, Stan, including the 5 Ideal Behavior, who does drop in class. And Leona Chemkin, the trainer of this horse, he's only done this with limited sampling size, but he's 2 for 7, so 29% in terms of his dirt horses dropping from maiden special weight company to the maiden claiming level.
This is a 2-year-old daughter, Great Notion. I'm a big fan of Great Notion. A Great Notion first time starter I like in the last race today. The debut chased on the turf that day, didn't work out. Then tried the Maryland bred company here on Maryland Pride Day on the dirt, and a decent effort that day. Had a little speed, was a little wide. I think this is a big drop here. Angel Serpa aboard this 9 to 5 favorite, has a nice outside post, so the 5 will be very tough, but we both like the first time starter on top. The 1 Grateful Heart from the Rodney Jenkins barn. The dam only made $18,000. However, this is a half sister to Distributor, who made over $100,000.
And you look at the pedigree too. She's by Scipion. They purchased her for $1,000, whereas Scipion is a $2,500 stud fee. So I kind of took that as a negative. And also on top of that, Rodney Jenkins, we see him do so well with his first time starters wherever they show up. But in maiden claimers, especially with his 2-year-old first time starters, he's 0 for 4. So I kind of looked against. I respect this horse, but I think there's more intriguing other players in here, because this horse will probably be bet because of the connections alone.
Sure, you get Trevor McCarthy. I think a tough assignment, having a break from the inside as well for the debut. Okay, race 2 kicks off the first of 3 pick 4s this afternoon. Race 2 is a very tough beaten nickel race. 3 and up, haven't won 2 since to date, never won 5, going 3/4 on the main track. Scratch to 4, Joe Test, he was the big dropper in there. And I'm just going with a price in here, Gabby. This is a hard race to handicap. A lot of these old war horses, they have the back class. They're not in the best of form now. I'll go with the 7 on the outside. Steve Hamilton in the tack here for Hammy Smith, a 2-time winner at Laurel Park. And I'm looking at the effort 3 back late July here at Laurel Park. That was for this beaten condition, this similar condition here. A sharp win off the pace that day, got a 61 buyer. If he can get back to that effort today, I think Hamilton will be in the clear on the outside. I like the 7 at 12 to 1.
I really have no knock against your top selection. I think the only negative is that he does sometimes have a tendency to be a bit pace dependent. So if Steve Hamilton can get him in the game a bit sooner, that will be beneficial for him. And I don't hold his last race against him. You know, sometimes it's really hard to transition your form to a track like Timonium with those really tight turns, and you can see lost ground on the turns. He probably didn't like that track whatsoever. So he should be able to transition nicely coming back here. He didn't show up or he has limited opportunities going against open company, and that is what he doesn't face that here today. He does face conditional claimers, but I thought there were some others in here that have been effective against open company, and I think you have to respect both halves of the entry for Claudio Gonzalez with both I'll Run the Show and Showtime.
Yeah, and I like the 1A here, Showtime. You have the plain one on top for your top pick. I'll run the show from the Claudio Gonzalez barn. Beaten, favored last time, but that was a little tougher condition up there at Penn.
Well, you go back to his race, and I'm kind of honing into to his race over the good track at Pimlico when he did face that open $5,000 condition. It came up pretty tough, and he's not slow. And I think with the scratch of a horse like Joe Tess, who figured to be the speed and take a lot of money, I want horses that are going to be a little bit forwardly placed, and I think both of Claudio Gonzalez's runners will be, and the 3 Burning Mandate, he might be the fastest of all if they do decide to send him early.
Yeah, Burning Mandate, old class horse, 3-time winner here at Laurel Park. You get Javion Toledo aboard. He'll probably have to go early from the inside. So a tough beaten nickel race there in race 2 to kick off the early pick 4. Let's turn the page. Race 3, claiming 5,000. Never won 2, lifetime 3/4 on the main track. And I'm going to go with the 7. Keep your eye on the Bellado for trainer. That's a mouthful, right? For trainer Dove Houghton, the apprentice Mike Perez in the tack. 7 pounds off for the apprentice. He was aboard last time. A sharp maiden win here against Maiden 10. This horse has a lot of speed, and I like that controlling speed from the outside. I think he'll have today.
And this horse, though, took a long time to break its maiden and finally got it together last time out when he did wire the field. And maybe he could do it once again here today. I looked elsewhere, though, and trust me, I'm not knocking your your horse too much, because my horse is kind of an interesting play at 10-1. That's the 6 Hush Hush Henny. He's another one that took quite a while to finally break his maiden, and he broke his maiden on the turf. Not on the turf today, but I did like the fact that he showed some improved speed going a mile on the dirt 2 starts back. He did fade, but I think he could probably be sitting in that catbird seat now in the cut back to 6 furlongs.
I guess I overlooked this horse. His last 3 races have just been so bad against better company. So now Mike Girallis doing the right thing here, dropping him down, see if he can wake up Hush Hush Henny a little bit. We both like the 3, Not for Fun from the Hugh McMahon barn. Darius Thorpe aboard. This horse is in good form, but maybe a little case of second-itis. 7 seconds here at Laurel Park.
He really doesn't have that killer instinct or the will to win, so I'll use him as an outsider, but I think the horse to beat in here is the 1, Credit Ready from the rail. Jamie Ness overall with this type of move, with these considerable drops going from turf to dirt, he's 32%. It is a negative ROI, though, so sometimes these are the types of horses that are just heavily bet, and sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. The one benefit he does have is speed from the rail.
Yeah, this is a drop here. He's done all his running on the turf, so we'll see what he does on the dirt here today. Tough inside post, unless Trevor McCarthy can just get him out early and go to the front, but we don't know if he likes the dirt. He didn't like it in that one debut, but he has fired some nice efforts on the turf since the claim there for Jamie Ness. We get back out to the turf course here for race 4. We're on the Fort Marcy turf course for the 4th race, going a mile in a 16th, rails at 87 feet. This race 4 kicks off. Another pick 4 this afternoon. Tough condition here, wide open, claiming 15,000 for filly and mares 3 and up. And my price play of the day here is on the outside, the 9, Is She It? I love this 8-year-old mare, a 16-time lifetime winner. 8 of those have come on the grass. She's a winner on the grass here at Laurel Park. She's been claimed in 2 of her last 3 races, and most recently she was claimed by Linda Albert. She didn't run too well last time, early August at this condition, but Linda Albert very good around here for a long time with claimers. She's freshened this horse up a little bit since she claimed the horse on August 7th. No work, so probably just put a bunch of long gallops into the mare. That's what these turf routers like to do. So I'm a fan of the barn here. Linda Albert, Yomo Ortiz aboard. He won the last race for me yesterday, so I like the 9, Is She It? At 8-1.
And there was a time where she was very, very good. She was competitive against that open condition for trainer Jamie Ness way back when, and Mike Pino kind of went back and forth between the two. And the only thing I can say about her, she used to have a little bit more speed than what she showed in her past 2 starts, and sometimes we see that it is an inclination that these horses are starting to tail off a bit. But Stan, if she gets back to her numbers that she was running last season or even earlier this year down in Florida, she could be a force to be reckoned with. I think the horse to beat, though, in here is the 8 Done One, and one you have to use protectively. But you go last time out, ran on the dirt, bad performance, and now immediately drops down from 2 other than allowance company to the $15,000 tag. Not really a vote of confidence here.
Exactly. I respect the 8. I'm going to use the horse in the exacta. It's been running on the dirt, but you look at the turf stats here, 5-time winner on the turf for over 100,000. I respect the connections here, Trevor McCarthy and Jamie Ness, so I'll use the 8 second. You have the 4 on top. I didn't use this horse at all here. I'm a little concerned about the drop, some time off since some 2-3 sharp races up there at Penn National. Now some time off in a drop, so I'm a little concerned about that.
It could be, but she did face A Other Than company last time out. But even prior to that, though, Stan, I don't think it's really a scary drop because she recently faced $8,000 claimers at Penn too. So I think the connections are just being reasonable with this mare. And you look at her races here last fall over a soft going, and they were pretty good. I know she was well beaten against Starter Allowance Company, but that was behind the likes of Vielsom, who was second in the Gallerette. Yeah. So different class level there, and I think she's just finding the right place here, coming back to Laurel, and she has that speed that will put her into a good position early.
All right, and we both, I'll use the 7 in there as well here, Unspoken. This horse might be part of the early pace here. Unspoken was stalking last time, weakened a little bit. The place horse, Intrepid Alex, would come back to win. Steve Hamilton up here for Howard Wolfendale. Nice 10-to-1 price there on the 7.
I gave this horse a long, hard look. I have kind of the long shot letters next to this horse's name because actually I thought she was a little bit closer than what she prefers last time out. So maybe if she gets more pace, she can come with her closing run. I think that's perhaps a more preferred running style. Okay,
race 4 kicks off the second pick 4. Let's get a commercial break. When we come back, we'll start with race 5, which kicks off our Rainbow Pick 6 today. Nice little carryover building in the pick 6, a little over 1,700. We'll be right back.
Save the date, October 22nd. Don't miss the 31st annual running of the Jim McKay Maryland Million at Laurel Park. Entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss the fun at Laurel Park, Saturday, October 22nd. For more information, visit MarylandMillion.com or MarylandRacing.com.
Okay, welcome back. Today at the races here at Laurel Park on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm Stan Salter, Gabby Gaudette here. Little carryover in the Rainbow Pick 6 today, starting in race 5, little over $1,700 for the Pick 6. I have a ticket, starts race 5. Let's take a look here at my ticket. I'm going to try to get through the first leg. It's one of those tough small fields to handicap, so I'll go 4 deep using the 1, 3, 4, 6. My key horse, my best bet of the day. This is one of my favorite kind of horses. Long on the turf, a 9-year-old, has been around here for a long time. The 6, Anawan from the Lacey Gaudette barn. Javion Toledo aboard. This horse shows up and gives you a solid effort every time. Yes, is 0 for 8 here at Laurel Park, but I think all that means to me is Anawan's due today. So I like the 6, Anawan, my best bet of the day. I'll key on that horse going 6 deep in race 7. That's a tough maiden special weight, and then another maiden special weight in races 8 and 10. So a tough Rainbow Pick 6 sequence. Let's take a look here at the first leg. Race 5, starter allowance, optional claiming 25,000, 3 and up. We're on the main track going 6 furlongs, and the 3, Grand Notion, was claimed last March here by trainer Christy Claggett. This 5-year-old gelding's by Great Notion. Has had some time off since the claim, so this horse is fresh now. And you look at that last race, that was up at Penn National, claiming 18,000 to life. A good closing second that day. Yes, was the beaten favorite, but you look at that race, the winner, Dixie's Last Laugh, would come back and win after that race. And now recently, that horse just won an allowance race. So, and then the place of the show horse in there came back to win. So I think that was a pretty strong race. Christy Claggett's been around here for a long time. She's fresh in this 5-year-old. Some nice works here at Laurel Park. Al Cortez aboard. Nice 6-to-1 price today. Okay, I went to the inside of the 1, Take a Chance on Me, and we'll have to work out a trip from the rail post. You go back to last October when this horse drew the rail post position in an 8-horse field, and he almost had to be used early to get into that position, and sometimes that's what we find has to happen with a horse like this. But I hope he can maybe secure a nice stalking position. The blinkers come off after putting them on last time out, but that was off of a
pretty significant layoff. We hadn't seen this horse since last December, so I think that served as a good base, and now is in against probably more appropriate company. That was a tough place to come back off of that layoff, especially at the distance at 7/8.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Egan puts the blinkers back on today. Corvus, who won that race, that's a real nice horse. We've seen some strong efforts from Take a Chance on Me before. I respect them. I'll use them third. I'm going to throw the 6 into the mix. Nicorodolic rocks here for Kieran McGee. Trevor McCarthy, a good second coming out of that same race. 2 Corvus, a drop to an easier condition here today with Trevor McCarthy aboard.
Well, this is a horse that looks a bit like a deep dead end closer, so hopefully he's going to hope for a pace set up in front of him here today. But I like the fact that Trevor McCarthy gets aboard because he's such an aggressive and he's a very strong rider coming down the stretch, and that's exactly what this horse needs. The only negative, he's 0 for 4 at the distance. He's a deep closer. Sometimes he comes up a little bit short.
Going to maybe need a little bit of a pace setup in front of him. You have the 4 in there as well. Blinkers on here for Cal Lynch. This horse just missed at Timonium at this level. Jevion Toledo aboard today.
Here for Cal Lynch, and I think he's run some credible races, especially his last race at Timonium. He's kind of an outlier for me. I'm going to be using him. I'm be honest, I had a kind of a tough time with this race, especially kind of predicting the pace. If the 1 goes from the rail, the 7, Big Brother Bubba could go. I don't think it's going to be a very hot pace, and that's why I prefer horses that aren't so dependent, like your 9 to 5 favorite.
Big Brother Bubba. Big Brother Bubba. Say that a few times.
Big Brother Bubba.
I like the name. I like the name there for Billy Bourne, trained horse. Okay, race 6 kicks off. The late pick 5, no carryover today. Industry low, 12% takeout on that late pick 5. Let's take a look here at my best bets. Last win, 2 back, late June at Pimlico, and there's the pick 5. Industry low, 12% takeout, no carryover today, but jump on in there. Should have a nice pull in that low takeout. Late pick 5 starts right here in race 6. Here's Anawan, old classy 9-year-olds, made over $180,000, a 7-time winner on the grass. This was his last win in his customary fashion. Comes from out of it. Had to come 4 wide, turning for home. Just a grinding win with Jevion Toledo aboard. He wins by a half length here at Pimlico against Open 75 Company. He would come back to Laurel Park July 16th, a good third that day. Super chunky, was a long shot winner. And there, he's been freshened since. I see a work on the tab. I like the barn. Lacey having a great summer. I had a great summer meet here at Laurel Park. Jevion Toledo aboard. These are my kind of horses, these old classy turf horses. I love the 6 Anawan at 6-1 today.
He's going to be closing from off the pace, and Jevion Toledo really knows how to ride him now, and I think this is a horse that just likes to close out in the clear, just unencumbered closing run. So hopefully he can get that trip, but he is over 8 here at Laurel.
He's
so
due. He's due today.
He's due today. He does really like Pimlico. He's going to have to buck that trend at Laurel. I thought that was a very bold single. Looking at the late pick 5, I went 6 deep here.
If I'm ever an owner or trainer, just give me a couple horses like this and I'll be happy. These are my favorite kind of horses.
He runs very, very well fresh too, so that's definitely a positive. You go to the outside though. The 13 Soup de Coupe is another one that I'll be using. Last time out, just couldn't really close into that pace set by Heiko, who went wire to wire. That horse is in really good form. I was totally against him here on opening day, but he proved me wrong. He finished to be a very good second, but that was against Starter Allowance Company. You see him going against open $20,000 claimers at Parks too. When he drops down to this level, he's very competitive and very consistent, and I think a horse that might be overlooked.
Yeah, and he hasn't run at this level in a while. He has been running against better, and this is another classy old 8-year-old, a 7-time winner on the grass, over $200,000 in earnings. Last time we saw him at this level last November here at Laurel, a good second that day. That was on a good turf course. We get a firm turf course today. I use him third in my trifecta. Just maybe a little concern that you hope Centron doesn't get parked too wide on that first clubhouse turn, but I like the 13 Soup de Coupe. I'll use him. I'll throw the 2 in there as well. Kitty Fredo might get a forwardly placed trip from the inside. Sheldon Russell aboard for Mike Juralis, a sharp second last time, kind of sat a stalking trip, and I think the strategy today will be kind of to send from the inside.
And the 12 Arctic North 5-1 on the morning line, Fergal Lynch for Dave Canizzo. This horse is arguably coming out of the best company, but he really hasn't shown a lot of speed lately, and I wonder if this is a horse that will kind of lag behind, but you can't argue with the fact that he is coming out of some steep competition.
Yeah, you get Fergal Lynch aboard there. The 7-year-old has made a bunch of money. He's made over $250,000 on the grass to 12 Arctic North. All right, let's turn the page. Race 7, we're on the Fort Marcy turf course. Rails at 87 feet, going 5.5 furlongs. Let's take a look here at a video spotlight on my top pick, the 7, Recoil. This was the debut effort here at Laurel Park, August 7th, tough maiden special weight here for trainer Cal Lynch. This horse had to break from the inside. That's a tough assignment, and he got steadied there at the 8th pole. You're going to see her right about now. That's him back in the back there getting steadied. He had a rough trip down the backstretch, covered up on the inside with traffic. He has a much better outside post today. We're getting Sheldon Russell aboard. They didn't give up after that debut. The horse got beat about 6 lengths, so they didn't give up after that. He's right back here in a maiden special weight. I like the turf breeding Lonro on the top side. The dam was 0 for 4. However, the second dam, she made over 100,000, was stakes place. So some nice pedigree top and bottom. I think this horse we'll see a much better improvement today with a much better post for the 7, Recoil.
I love Lonro as a sire. He just can, obviously, he stood in Australia for a while and now recently coming to North America, the United States, and his progeny has just been fantastic on the turf. So I do think that we're going to see an improved performance from this horse, and I'm using him in the late pick 5. There's no doubt about it. It almost looked like, though, it took a little while for this horse to get going, and then unfortunately he was stymied down on the inside. He really had no clear room to run, but if you're getting that 8-1 as advertised price, I'd say go all in. The 3, Don't Poke the Cat, has some experience too. Last time out they brought him back to the dirt, now going back to the turf here today, but that was a pretty strong race. We obviously saw Great Bulls of Fire and Caribou Club come back yesterday to win the Laurel Futurity. We also saw Monsoon KUSA, the 3rd place finisher in there, come back to run 4th in the With Anticipation up in Saratoga. So a very productive race, and if he can duplicate that or even improve off that performance, he should be tough.
Yeah, the horse to beat. Obviously, I tried to pick him on top. Forest Boys aboard for Robin Graham. Strong connections. You wonder what the strategy will be. The horse had a little speed in that Great Bulls of Fire race, and perhaps they're going to maybe ask the horse for some of that speed early on so they don't get covered up in traffic down the backstretch. But Forest Boys, a very good rider. Nice win on Onus yesterday. So the 3 I respect very much, and absolutely I think the horse to beat in here. I'm going to throw the 6 in there as well. Second time starter for trainer Hammy Smith by Langford, so I like that horse as a turf sire out of a Spitestown mare. They can run on anything. The debut at Timonium, not too bad, going a half mile. That's kind of a Yahoo speed.
It's a good primer.
It's a good primer. He's going to have some more real estate to work with here. Decent, useful 4th in that last race. 8-1 here. Daniel Centeno aboard. I think this 2-year-old will like the turf today.
The 10, Toss the Tub, I'll throw into the Exacta. I just think this horse is going to have speed from the outside. He probably can get into position early. The blinkers go on. They want this horse to be fast, and hopefully that's going to be the case today. We see the Factor, his progeny, they're pretty quick and they're precocious. And on the bottom side too, Bet on the Blue. The mare was a grade 3 placed runner going long on the turf. She made just about $245,000 in her career, so I definitely like to see a little bit of turf pedigree on the bottom side. All
right, very nice maiden special weight on the turf for 2-year-olds there in race 7. That kicks off the late pick 4. Does race 7. Another maiden special weight for you. If you like well-bred 2-year-olds, this is the track to bet today here. Race 8, maiden special weight 2-year-olds on the main track going 3/4. Let's take a look here at the 8, Musical America. I think this horse is going to get bet today. A first-time starter for Arnaud Delacour. He's 23% with a positive ROI. By Malibu Moon, that's a major league sire. Out of the Real Quiet mare, Pussycat Dial, who made almost $800,000, was a multiple grade 1 winner. This horse is a half the Set to Music, who made $75,000. So the grade 1 winning mare has thrown some runners. Daniel Centeno aboard, some decent works up there at Fair Hill for this first-timer.
Ditto. All of that. I think this horse is going to be the one to beat. Obviously, the mare, she was a 3-time grade 1 winner on the dirt. She won the Lebre, Humana de Staff, Santa Monica, but she's also been a nice producer. Some of her foals, though, they've been better on the turf. So I think it's actually a confidence move that they start this horse on the dirt. You always want, sometimes you want more so a dirt horse than a turf horse, especially more options looking forward for these 2-year-olds.
Yep, good point. So, well, maybe the horse will like both surfaces. We'll see if he likes the dirt today. I bet you he'll probably be well backed. Daniel Centeno aboard for Arnaud. They're 32% from a large sampling, 32% together with a nice positive ROI. So if you play those two consistently, Centeno aboard for Delacour, you're going to be doing okay. Let's talk about the 4 next. Just the Facts, a first-time starter from the Michael Matz barn by the Factor. The Factor was super freaky fast. So this horse could be any kind. The dam made 98,000. Some nice siblings that this horse is related to. He's a half brother to Logic Way, who made over $600,000. Also a half brother to Big Truck, who was a winner on the dirt, made $370,000. So some very nice pedigree here on the 4 Just the Facts. Horacio Caramanos aboard today for Mats.
I should have respected this horse a bit more because of how precocious the Factor's progeny has been. And you see on the Just a Ginny, the mare, her foals have made $1.4 million collectively, and she's had 2 winners at 2. So those are some positive signs. I also use the 9 to the outside high roller, tracks the likes of Trevor McCarthy, I think a positive. And also you look at the, obviously it's by High Cotton and kind of a low sire priced purchase there, $5,000, but they at the OBS sale he sold for $30,000 as a 2-year-old. So I always like to see that the higher price purchase with a low tagged sire there in High Cotton. I'm also going to be throwing in the 2 the number 5 Zarski. He didn't do much running, but we see Larry Jones. He does fantastic work with his 2-year-olds. They improve with each and every start. Tapazar has been a very good sire too, and look at the field too. No dozing coming back to win a straight back a first level allowance race. Getting a 69 Beyer speed figure.
Yeah, so the 5 exits, a very strong race. I'll throw the 3 in there. Classic move from the Hall of Famer Shug McGahee's barn. McGahee with a nice win yesterday with Onus. Edgar Prado, the Hall of Famer Edgar Prado in the saddle. He won the Laurel Dash yesterday. It's a typical well-bred fit stable horse here by Congrats. The dam won 4 of 9 races for over 100,000. Some nice works up there at Saratoga in preparation for the debut today.
A wide open field.
All right, race 9, we get back out to the turf on the all-along turf course here for race 9, going 5.5 furlongs. Our allowance feature of the day, a 2 other than allowance condition, optional claiming 32,000. And while we saw Salal run in the Laurel Dash yesterday, the race before that, his first USA race for trainer Graham Motion, and the horse whistled. So I'm going to go right back to the same formula here for trainer Graham Motion. He brings this horse over. This 3-year-old filly hasn't run since August of 2015 over there in Deauville. The 2 races before that were 2 wins, so the connections were confident enough to go to Deauville, which is kind of like the Saratoga of France. The horse was 3-1 over there in a grade 3 stake, was 3-1, so that's pretty strong. Didn't break very well, stumbled at the start and probably lost all shot, but been training well up there at Fair Hill, including a nice recent bullet going 5/8 on September 3rd.
She looked like a promising 2-year-old last season. She won in debut. She came back to win once again, and then pointed her for Group 3 company, and she was well backed by the public in that event too. She did stumble at the start, but I do think if you kind of look at her previous 3 races, she's probably going to be well positioned. It doesn't look like she's very slow. And you made a good point. Salal came here, won his USA debut. Overall, Graham Motion does great work with horses like this. And even here specifically at Laurel, we've seen several have success, another one being Proud Pearl. But Salal, too, sometimes you have to question the layoff, but Salal won off of a September 2015 layoff. So Graham does fantastic work, and I do think that we're going to see a big performance from this filly.
And it's getting Lasix in the USA debut as well. We both like the 1. This is probably the horse to beat. We know Elusive Joni very well for trainer Gary Capuano. Trevor McCarthy aboard. That was a sharp allowance win up there at Delaware most recently. This filly likes to come from off the peso, so Trevor McCarthy is going to have to navigate a trip closing from the inside on this filly.
And I think if you're playing those multi-race sequences, whether it be the late pick 5 or the pick 6, if you aren't confident, I would imagine a lot of people might key off of the 9 Rakaya. But if you're not going to single on a horse like that, you'd probably back yourself up with a horse like the 1 Elusive Joni, because although she was supposed to win that last race, she did draw the rail. It was just kind of a mediocre field, but she did finish a very good second behind Santifica. So even though she won last time out, that was what she's supposed to do, she also has delivered against tougher company in the past.
Yeah, she's the horse to beat, just maybe a tough inside post. I'll throw the 4 in there, Awake the Day. Big rider change here. We're going from a 7-pound apprentice rider to a Hall of Famer rider in Edgar Prado on the 4, Awake the Day for trainer Robbie Bales. This horse been knocking on the door at this window. And look at that effort last April here at Laurel in a 3 other than allowance race. A good 4th that day, was only beaten a half length by the likes of Monster Sleeping and 2 Wonders. So Prado gets aboard today, 12-1. That's a lot of value for a horse that I think is in good form in the right spot.
You might have sniffed out a good one here, because I've been watching and waiting for this horse to find the winner's circle for a very long time, and she has unfortunately been compromised by some troubled trips, which often happens at 5.5, 5 furlong sprints. But Hall of Famer now in the saddle, that might be a good one at a price.
All right, we stay on the turf for race 10. We're on the Fort Marcy turf course for today's last race, going 5.5 furlongs. The rails at 87 feet. Nice maiden special weight race here, 3-year-olds and upward. I'm going to go with a Great Notion, first-time starter on the outside. I like the outside draw. The 10 First Notion gets here for trainer Jeff Runkle by Great Notion. They love the turf. The Dam Smart Crowd by Crowd Pleaser. That's turf top and bottom right there. The Dam made 81,000, and this horse is a full brother to Great Crowd, who was a runner. He made over 100,000. Jeff Runkle, from a large sampling, 30% with his first-time starters. Some nice bullet works, including his most recent work, half mile from the gate at Charlestown, 48-1. So nice 8-1 price here on the 10 First Notion, who does get Lasix in debut.
Has been prepared there at Charlestown. Jeff Runco does fantastic work at Charlestown. I went against that horse and looked to the 4 Jolpon to the inside for trainer Niall Seville. Once again, talking about Lonhro and his progeny, just really, really good. You look on the bottom side too, and the foals collectively, they've made $350,000 all on the turf. So the mare has been a pretty good producer, and I think he's probably getting to a more preferred surface today.
I'll throw the 1 into my exacta. The 1 Concordia's Way from Robbie Bales' barn gets first-time Lasix here today on this 3-year-old son of Concord Point. The last race was going 2 turns, a maiden special weight on Maryland Pride Day. That was a tough race won by Ballivor that day. Concordia's Way went to the front, got a little tired, finished 3rd. Now cutting back in distance today to 5.5 furlongs. We're getting Edgar Prado aboard. Nice bullet work since that last race. First time Lasix, 5-1. I like the 1 a lot here in this race.
I picked this horse 4th, and if I were to go 4 deep in the pick 5, I would definitely use him, because sometimes with these races you really want a horse with fitness, experience, and that's definitely what you get with this horse. He had 2 sprints on the main track before transitioning that form to 2 turns on the turf, so he has a good bottom in him today. But the 2 9s Wild Frankie down to the inside, I think you have to respect this horse. I know he has had his chances. He's well exposed. He's 0 for 9 right now, sprinting on the turf. But if he can repeat a race last time, like he did last time out at Laurel, he should win this race. That was a 70-buyer speed figure, and the rest of the field's really going to have to improve to match that.
All right, it's a nice competitive maiden special weight race for the finale today, race 10. Okay, we're out of time right now. Dave Rodman, he'll be up in a few minutes to give you all of today's scratches and changes, and then stick around after he does the changes for today. We're going to have a moment of silence in honor of all the people that lost their lives 15 years ago today on 9/11, all the people that risked their lives on that day as well. Good luck here today on Sunday. Dave Rodman is coming up next.